This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by trainer Mark Tibbs over Zoom. Mark, just before we get into all of the boxing talk, how are you?
Lovely, not too bad, Andy, considering not being the best of weekends. Had to bury my best friend on Friday, and well, cremated actually. One of my best friends at school passed away a couple of weeks ago. Well, I was in training camp with Johnny Fisher, and he was my best friend. So we buried him on Friday on the day of the weigh-in, and then obviously we had the fight on the Saturday.
I'm sorry to hear that firstly about your friend
Go
Mark.
on, mate.
Obviously,
That's okay.
condolences to his family. But with the fight itself, let's go into it. A bit of time just to digest everything since the defeat. What's your ultimate reflections and your early analysis of why it went wrong for Johnny?
Well, you know. It was a case of inexperience, Andy. We had a solid, I thought, game plan in place. Dave unravelled John pretty quickly because of his experience, if you know what I'm saying. And Johnny's 14 fights in, Dave's 30 fights in, I guess, something like that. And he's been a wealth of experience over the years, sparring and fighting on the big stage. He gets a smell of big money, and he's got the flavour again, Dave. He really has. Um, yeah, Johnny. We expected to keep Dave as long as we can for as long as we can, but we had to put some stiff work in from time to time. But Johnny couldn't find that stiff, solid work. If you know what I mean, backhands, right, left hooks, etc. But his inside work was a little bit better than the first fight. Johnny's that was, but it wasn't good enough. Dave pulled off a punch perfect performance. I've got to say that, and credit to Dave and his team for that. Yeah, gutted for
Dave,
Johnny. Gutted for Johnny the way it ended because no one likes to see anyone end like that. But yeah.
from the get-go, Mark, Dave was obviously looking to come forwards on that front foot. Johnny boxing well initially, and it's similar to kind of how the first fight was playing out. Johnny on the back foot, staying behind his jab. But this time around, as you mentioned, Dave, he seemed to kind of find the holes a little bit sooner, and his experience paid dividends in the end. Was that the approach you guys watched that first fight and felt that if Johnny could maintain the way those first 4 rounds went in the first fight for a longer period in the second fight, that was your best route to success?
Yeah, because we expected Dave to use his feet, but he used them wisely. He used them wisely. He cut the ring off. He walked Johnny down like an old veteran he is, and that's expected. Johnny would have felt the deep water. Johnny would have felt the deep water. That's something like I say before you can't explain. And Johnny evaded Dave's right hand once, only once properly. How he should have done it all the time. The second time, he just couldn't bend his legs or keep his left hand up, and he got caught with that overhand right. Yeah, yeah, it was difficult holding the veteran off. Yeah, it was difficult for Johnny to hold the veteran off. Indeed, yeah, and he got up for that fight. He got up for that fight because money was the motivator.
Before the fight, a lot of people were talking about what more Johnny could do. Do you feel like there was not enough kind of talk about how much Dave could change? And obviously, we've seen the performance he produced on Saturday. Do you feel like people were concentrating too much on Johnny and not really giving Dave enough credit for what he could produce in a rematch?
Yeah, well, Dave, like I say, all what he does, he can do in his sleep. He just got in a bit better nick, a bit better condition, regardless of the £10 weight difference. He was confident in his approach, and he knew how to sit down on them shots when he got distance, and he certainly sat down on them. And the way he placed them up and down was that of a veteran. And as I say, credit to Dave. But Johnny just didn't have the experience and probably the know-how to not enough fights under his belt. Maybe we all underestimated Dave and thought he was a little spent, and he certainly wasn't.
Johnny, obviously, incredibly tough and a great deal of heart that we've seen. in these last couple of fights. But just with the stoppage itself, Mark, when he was initially knocked down, how close were you to then maybe throwing the towel in? Because we saw the towel come in as soon as Dave landed that one shot, which just kind of saw Johnny fall face first into the canvas. Was you tempted to throw it just before then when he was initially knocked down?
Listen, we was almost there, and I want to give my guy every bit of chance. And in hindsight, I was a little late. I was a little later than I liked to have been with that towel, to be fair. So referee, I think referee more or less sort of beat me to it, or we done it at the same time. But yeah, it's you know, yeah, it was a good finish by Dave.
How difficult in that moment, Mark, as a coach, is it to make that decision when you know there's what 7, 8 seconds left of the round? You know Johnny's got that grit and determination, and he can get through it if he had to. How difficult is it just to kind of hold back or to let the towel go?
Well, it's very difficult, but you know it's a fine line between giving your guy a chance, a chance of getting to that end of that round, and then we could analyse, see where we're at. But as you say, there's 8 seconds left, 8 or 10 seconds left, and yeah, I wanted, I can beat myself up a little bit. I could have done it 5 seconds earlier, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and yeah, it was as I say, Johnny's he's took the defeat like a man, a stand up man he is, and I'm very very proud of him. Very proud of him for taking the rematch. In the first place, and like that. A lot of people in the past would walk away with one up, and he done it for his fans. I know what he's like. He done it for his people, his fans, and he can look at himself in the mirror, and that's why he done it. Yeah.
Most people would, and certainly ones which I spoke to, felt that, like we said earlier, Johnny's route to success might be similar to how the first 4 rounds of the first fight had gone. But in his post-fight interview, he mentioned that maybe he felt like he could have done something different. He maybe fought a different fight. What do you think on that?
Listen to this. Look, fights, Dave, short or long. It's you know it's very clear to see. You think Johnny's a strong guy, but he's 24 years of age. Yeah, he's 24 years of age, and if he's still in the business 3 or 4 years time, yeah, he'll be twice as strong, twice as wise. He will know how to manage and pace fights. See, the reason why we went away to train was to he gave himself every bit of chance to win that fight, but you can't buy experience and strength of mind. He's got a big heart and everything. He's got big character, strong character. But as I say, he lacked the experience of ring management, ring craft, both of them things. And yeah, so listen, we learnt the hard way. We learnt the hard way. Johnny learnt the hard way.
After kind of how conclusive the finish was in this rematch, a lot of people wouldn't expect to see that trilogy. I know the idea of it was floated before the fight. A couple of people mentioned it after, but now you've had that time to reflect and listen to you now, Mark. Do you feel like it would be best served wise to go away and rebuild a little bit before considering a potential trilogy with Dave Allen?
Well, 100%. He could have quite easily done that this time round, but he didn't. As I say, he did it for the fans. I know that personally because the time I spend with Johnny and the conversations we had. We spoke last night of very, very an upbeat conversation of the rebuild, and it was great to hear him talk like he spoke last night of the rebuild, and needs a bit of a rest, of course. And yeah, so I'm excited and infused, and yeah, so looking forward to the rebuild of Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull. They don't make him like him anymore. I'll tell you that now. lovely gentleman, and yeah, yeah.
You all seem to have quite a close bond, Mark. Which in Johnny's post-fight interview, he mentioned having people like yourself, like your father around, is what he's going to need to come back and to rebuild. Obviously, in the past, sometimes we've seen after a defeat, some fighters might leave a trainer, look for pastures new, which might make people think they're somewhat blaming their trainer for it falling wrong. But that doesn't seem to be the case with you guys. How strong is that relationship between you two, and how excited are you for that progression moving forwards now?
Well, I'm very excited. I'm very excited, as always, to work with someone of Johnny's attributes and ingredients, as in heart and determination and work ethic. I mean, he certainly learned in the last training camp how to manage his sessions and not leave it in the gym. You know what I mean? This was just an era of inexperience, and yeah, and it was the money that was on the table was the give him the desire, and obviously, as I said before, it was his fans. More importantly, he wanted to, he knew the fans weren't happy with the first one, and he's gone in there and done it for the people, and you can only salute him for that. You know what I mean?
I imagine when you did speak last night, there's possibly a part of him which has that itch to get back into the ring as quickly as possible, or to certainly start training again. What advice did you give him over the phone last night?
Well, listen, this I want to go back on what you said about because the conversation was about he could have been a bit more of himself in it. And listen, when you work on a tactic, yeah, you work on an entry and an exit tactic to keep your fighter safe. But you got to fight in between. You have to have a fight in between with someone like Dave Allen. You have to get solid. You have to sit down and get solid and hard. And I felt we did. I felt we did. You watch it yourself. He did, but he didn't do it good enough. That is where he lacks ring experience. And you've only got to look at the box recs and tell you strike there's your logbooks that tell you the experience. But sorry, what was your question, Andy? Again?
It was just kind of, I imagine Johnny being who he is, he's possibly got that itch to try and get back in the gym, try and start and righting the wrongs as quickly as possible. What was your advice to him when you spoke last night with regards to if that was maybe the case?
Well, he knows now through the experience of his fights and his training camps and working with he's worked with quality operators himself in sparring and in training camps. So he's a very smart young man, and he's picked up off of seasoned pros and veterans. He's took it on board, and obviously these last two fights for the money he's made. He's a very, very, very lucky man, but he's put the time in, and he's worthy of it. He's worthy of it, and it will come again. I'll give you my word, it will come again, and he will be. He will see. You got to know how to handle what's in front of you, and that you only get that through the process. And he's rushed the process. No one's fault. No one's fault. It's just because he's a popular young guy that sells mountains of tickets domestically anywhere in the country, and 13, 14 fights. Not a lot of people would have made what he's made so far. So he's got to now rein it in a little bit, keep his feet on the ground, and take some rest and recovery. And while he's taking rest and recovery, he'll get even wiser because it's called digesting. and yeah, so I look forward to the future with Johnny. Yeah, for sure.
How do you certainly see then, say, the next chapter in his career going, in your opinion, Mark?
Well, I believe he should have a couple of eight rounders, and then we go from there. We go from there. But like at the minute, he's going to have at least a good couple of months off, couple of 3 months off, and yeah. So I think we spoke of a couple of international jobs, and yeah, take it from there. But listen, there's no pressure, man. by having them international jobs, he's taking them away. He ain't expected to bring 2,000 friends. You know what I'm saying? So 2,000 sell 2,000 seats or 7,000 seats. So taking the pressure off him, he deserves that. He deserves to take some pressure off, learn and enjoy his craft. Sorry, mate, I've got a call
Okay.
coming through. Is it interrupting?
No, you carry on.
Yeah. So do I make sense there, Andy?
Yeah, 100% you do, Mark. But
Yeah.
just one on that word pressure then. Obviously, going into this fight, Johnny played it down that he didn't feel the pressure that every fighter goes through those moments and, the best come out on top. Do you feel like though now that a bit more time's happened gone by and you can digest it all, there was that added sense of pressure on his shoulders because he sold so many tickets, because of that the first fight, the controversy around it. Do you feel like there was a pressure on his shoulders that maybe he didn't quite acknowledge as much, certainly in the media, as what might be
Well, I've got to
obvious now?
say, I've got to say, like from the very, very start of his career, I was concerned about the pressure because of the immediate interest and tickets his dad does for him, sells for him. But like, it's all part and parcel of the business. But he handled it. He handled it like a duck to water. I've got to say, yeah. But listen, everyone feels pressure. Everyone feels pressure, and he must have felt an extra bit of pressure. But I've got to say, I've never. He was good in it. He was good in the preparation for this fight, and in the fight week, he was absolutely. He was that of a true professional. He just was out experienced, and yeah. So listen, yeah, that's how it went. I mean, once he goes again, he will be. I believe he's gonna benefit. He's gonna benefit from what he's gone through, from what he's gone through. I believe he'll benefit from that. Yeah.
Mark, listen, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man and you've got a few things to take care of today. So thank you for jumping on with me. Again, condolences to you and your friend's family who recently passed. And just
Thank
please
you.
pass on my best to Johnny as well after Saturday.
Appreciate that, Andy. Take care, mate.